The Accidental Proposal. Ethan Blake was officially done with love. His last girlfriend had left him for a guy who owned a yacht, his art wasn't selling, and his friends had dragged him to this ridiculous beach bonfire party where everyone seemed happier than him. "Come on, man," his best friend Marcus nudged him. "Just have some fun tonight." Ethan took a long drink from his beer. "Fun? I'm a broke artist who lives above a laundromat. What's fun about that?" "I dare you," Marcus grinned mischievously. "Point at any random girl here and declare her your future wife. Live a little." "That's stupid. You scared?" Ethan rolled his eyes, fueled by 3 beers and wounded pride. "Fine, watch this." He spun around dramatically, closed his eyes, and pointed blindly into the crowd. "You!" he shouted. "I choose you to be my—" His voice died in his throat. The girl he pointed at slowly turned around, and Ethan forgot how to breathe. She was stunning in a way that didn't make sense. Her skin had a faint purple shimmer under the firelight. Her hair flowed like liquid silver down to her waist, and her eyes were galaxies, deep violet with tiny stars that actually seemed to move inside them. "You choose me?" she whispered, her voice like music. Ethan's brain short-circuited. Sorry, it was a joke. My friend dared me. I didn't mean to." Before he could finish apologizing, 3 figures in dark clothing dropped from seemingly nowhere, landing in perfect formation around her. The beach went silent. The lead figure, a tall man with similar purple-tinted skin and fierce golden eyes, stepped forward. "Princess Valora," he said urgently, "your location is compromised. We must return you immediately." Ethan blinked rapidly. "Princess? Did he just say princess?" The girl, Valora, looked panicked. Her eyes darted between Ethan and the armed figures. "You revealed me," she breathed, backing toward Ethan. "The ancient laws, they heard you claim me." "I didn't claim anyone," Ethan protested. "It was a dare." Valora grabbed his wrist suddenly. Her touch sent electricity through his entire body. "Listen to me carefully," she said intensely. "In my culture, a public declaration of choosing activates sacred protection laws. You just made me your responsibility. If you don't come with me right now, they'll erase your memory of this night and take me back." "Back where?" "Home. Across the stars." The tall guardian stepped closer. "Princess Valora, we don't have time for this human nonsense." "Tarek, he invoked the claiming words," Valora said firmly. "You know the law." Tarek's jaw tightened. "He did it by accident." "Destiny cares nothing for intention," Valora replied. Behind them, the air began to shimmer and crack. A portal of swirling purple and silver light tore open reality itself. More figures poured through, royal guards in crystalline armor. Ethan's logical brain was screaming at him to run, but something deeper, something he couldn't explain, made him step closer to Valora instead. "Okay," he said, surprising himself. "I'll come." Valora's eyes widened. "You will?" "You said they'll erase my memory if I don't, and honestly," Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. "I don't want to forget meeting you, even if this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me." A small smile touched her lips, the first real expression he'd seen from her. "Then hold on," she whispered. She grabbed his hand properly this time, fingers intertwining with his. "Wait!" Marcus shouted from somewhere behind them. "Ethan, what the hell?" But Ethan was already running. Valora pulled him through the stunned crowd with surprising strength. They sprinted down the beach as the portal's light grew brighter behind them. "Where are we going?" Ethan gasped. "Away from them," Valora said. "I'm not ready to go back. Not yet." Energy blasts suddenly erupted around them, purple light scorching the sand. "They're not going to let you leave," Ethan yelled. Valora's eyes began to glow, actually glow, like stars burning brighter. "I am Princess Valora Starwin of the Celestial Throne, and I invoke my right to the trial of heart. No one may take me by force while my claimed protector stands with me." The blast stopped. Tarek and the guards froze mid-pursuit. Valora didn't slow down. She pulled Ethan toward the parking lot, toward his beat-up car. "Can you drive?" she demanded. "Yes." "Then drive, now." They dove into his car, Ethan's hands shaking as he jammed the key into the ignition. The engine sputtered, died, sputtered again. Come on, Ethan begged. The car roared to life. He slammed the gas pedal, tires screaming as they peeled out of the parking lot. In the rearview mirror, he could see the Royal Guard standing at the beach entrance, watching them go. Tarek's expression promised this wasn't over. Ethan's heart hammered against his ribs. Okay, so, to be clear, you're an actual alien princess? Valora nodded, still catching her breath. Yes. And I accidentally what? Proposed to you? In a manner of speaking? And now we're running from your Royal Guard because... Valora turned to look at him, and in the dim dashboard light, her purple skin seemed to shimmer with an inner radiance. Because, she said softly, I've been hiding on Earth for 6 months, running from an arranged marriage to a prince I've never loved. And when you pointed at me tonight, when you chose me without knowing who I was or what I am, you gave me the only protection that could keep them from dragging me home immediately. Ethan's grip tightened on the steering wheel. So, what happens now? Valora looked out at the dark road ahead. Now, she whispered, now you're bound to me, and I to you, until the trial of heart is complete. What's the trial of heart? She met his eyes and something electric passed between them. 30 days, she said, 30 days to prove our bond is real. If we fail, I return to my world and marry Prince Dravos. If we succeed, Ethan prompted. Valora's voice dropped to barely a whisper. If we succeed, you become mine and I become yours, across all worlds, for all time. Ethan Blake had officially given up on love, but as he drove through the night with a runaway alien princess in his passenger seat, her hand still resting on his arm, their bond already forming in ways neither of them understood yet, he thought maybe, just maybe, love hadn't given up on him.
Hidden in plain sight, Ethan's art studio apartment had never felt smaller. He unlocked the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, very aware that he had an alien princess standing behind him in the narrow hallway above Wong's laundromat. It's not much, he said apologetically, flipping on the lights. The single room came into view. Unmade bed in the corner, canvases stacked against every wall, paint-splattered drop cloths covering most of the floor, a tiny kitchenette that consisted of a hot plate and a mini-fridge. Valora stepped inside, her eyes sweeping across everything with genuine curiosity. "You create art here?" she asked. "I tried to," Ethan said, tossing his keys onto the cluttered desk. "Mostly I create rent anxiety and existential dread, but yeah, sometimes art happens." Valora moved toward his paintings. Her fingers hovered over a canvas showing a stormy ocean under a star-filled sky. "This is beautiful," she whispered. "You captured the loneliness of vastness." Ethan felt heat rise to his cheeks. "Thanks. Nobody's bought it, but thanks." She turned to face him, and in the soft lamplight, her purple skin seemed to glow from within, like she'd swallowed moonlight. "Why do you diminish your gift?" she asked. "Because gifts don't pay rent," he said. Then immediately felt like an idiot. "Sorry, this is weird. I have an alien princess in my apartment. I don't know the protocol." A small smile curved her lips. "There is no protocol for this." "Right, so, you can take the bed, I'll sleep on the floor." "Ethan," she interrupted gently, "I need to explain what happened tonight, what's happening between us." He sat down heavily on the edge of his bed. "Yeah, the whole trial of heart thing? I'm listening." Valora settled gracefully onto the paint-stained chair near his eagle. She tucked her silver hair behind her ear, revealing that her ears were slightly pointed. 6 months ago, I fled my world. My mother, Queen Thessara, arranged my marriage to Prince Dravos of the Shadow Nebula. It's a political alliance, one that would prevent war between our galaxies." "Sounds important," Ethan said. "It is," Valora agreed. "But Dravos is cruel. He collects planets like trophies and treats their people like possessions. I couldn't. I wouldn't bind myself to him forever. So you ran to Earth? She nodded. Earth is classified as a developing world, protected by intergalactic law. My people can observe but not interfere. It made it the perfect hiding place. I've been living as a student, learning about your culture, your art, your beautiful, chaotic way of life. He processed this. And tonight, the whole pointing thing? Valora's expression grew serious. In our culture, there's an ancient law called the claiming bond. If someone publicly declares their choice of a partner, and that person accepts even accidentally, it creates a sacred connection, one that cannot be dissolved except through the trial of heart, which is 30 days where we must prove our bond is genuine. During that time, no one can force me to return home, not even my mother. It's the one law that supersedes royal authority. Ethan's mind raced. But I didn't know what I was doing. Doesn't that matter? The law states that fate works through us, not around us, Valora said softly. Intention matters less than action. That's kind of beautiful, actually. Also terrifying. Yes, she agreed. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of everything settling between them. What happens if we fail the trial? Ethan finally asked. Valora's eyes dimmed slightly. I return home. I marry Drovos. You forget all of this. And if we pass? She met his gaze directly. Then you would be bound to me. You would have to leave Earth, come to my world, become part of a culture you don't understand, live a life you never chose. That doesn't sound like passing. No, Valora whispered. It sounds like I'm asking you to give up everything, which is why, Ethan Blake, I won't hold you to this. In the morning, I'll find another way. I'll surrender to Tarek and face my fate. You shouldn't have to. Do I get a say in this? She blinked. What? He stood up, moving closer to where she sat. You're making decisions for me, but I was there tonight too. I pointed at you. Yeah, it was a dare, but when I saw you, really saw you... He paused, searching for the right words. Something in me recognized something in you. I don't know how to explain it. Valora's breath caught. You felt it too? He said, like gravity shifting, like the whole world tilted toward you. She rose from the chair, now standing just inches from him. That's the bond forming, she whispered, the connection between chosen souls. But Ethan, it could just be magic, not real feelings. Or, he said quietly, maybe magic knows something we don't yet. The air between them felt charged, electric. Valora's hand lifted slowly, hesitantly, until her fingers brushed against his cheek. Her touch was warm, softer than he'd imagined. I've been alone for 6 months, hiding, pretending, never showing anyone who I really am. And then you pointed at me. You looked at me like I was someone worth choosing. Not a princess, not a political prize, just me. Ethan's heart hammered. You are worth choosing. Her eyes, those impossible galaxy eyes, searched his face. You don't know me. Then let me. 30 days, right? Let's actually try. Not because of some magic law, but because I want to know who you are. What makes you laugh, what you dream about, what it's like to see Earth through your eyes. It could be dangerous. Drovos won't accept this quietly. He'll send hunters. Then we'll deal with it. My mother will be furious. Parents usually are when their kids make their own choices. Despite everything, Valora laughed. The sound was like wind chimes, clear and bright. You are either very brave or very foolish, she said. Probably both, Ethan admitted. But I'm also an artist. We're used to making beautiful things out of chaos. She stepped even closer, her face now tilted up toward his. "What if I break your heart?" she whispered. "What if you don't?" he countered. For a long moment they stood there, two people from different worlds, bound by accident and possibility. Then Valora did something that surprised them both. She leaned forward and rested her forehead against his chest, right over his heart. In our culture, this is how we listen to someone's soul. He barely dared to breathe. His hand came up slowly, gently resting on her back. "What does mine say?" he asked. She was quiet for a few heartbeats. "It says you're lonely. It says you've been searching for something you couldn't name. It says, maybe, you've been waiting for me too." His arms wrapped around her fully then, holding her close. "Yeah," he whispered into her silver hair. "Maybe I have been." They stood like that until the first light of dawn began creeping through his window, two souls learning the rhythm of each other's heartbeat. Outside, the city was waking up, and somewhere across the stars, forces were gathering. But in that small studio apartment above a laundromat, Ethan Blake and Princess Valora Starwin held each other and chose, for the first time in both of their lives, to stop running, to stand still, to let themselves feel, and to believe that maybe, just maybe, destiny had gotten something right, even if it started with a drunken dare at a beach party. Because the best love stories, Valora thought as she listened to Ethan's steady heartbeat, always begin with something impossible.
The bond deepens. 3 days passed in a blur of hiding and discovery. Ethan called in sick to his part-time job at the art supply store, claiming food poisoning, which wasn't entirely a lie since his stomach hadn't stopped doing flips since Valora walked into his life. They kept the curtains drawn, ordered takeout, and existed in their own little bubble while the world outside continued without them. "Explain pizza to me again," Valora said, sitting cross-legged on his bed with a slice in her hand. She'd changed into one of his oversized shirts and a pair of sweatpants, her silver hair pulled into a messy bun. She looked less like a princess and more like a college student, except for the faint purple shimmer of her skin and the stars that still swirled in her eyes. "It's bread, sauce, cheese, and whatever toppings you want," Ethan explained from his spot on the floor. "Humanity's greatest achievement." "Greater than space travel?" "We didn't invent space travel," Ethan pointed out. "You guys did. We just invented pizza." Valora took a bite and made a small sound of pleasure that did dangerous things to Ethan's composure. "This is incredible," she said. "On my world, we consume nutrient crystals. They're efficient, but soulless." "That sounds horrible." "It is," she agreed, then looked at him with those impossible eyes. "Everything here tastes like happiness, like someone cared enough to make it delicious instead of just functional." Ethan smiled. "That's kind of the human philosophy. We know we're going to die someday, so we might as well make good food while we're here." "I like that," Valora said softly. "You live like every moment matters." "Well, when you only get 80 years or so, you learn to appreciate things." She set down her pizza, her expression growing distant. "I'll live for over 300 years, she said quietly. "I've already lived through what would be 4 human lifetimes, and I'm still considered young. Do you understand what that means, Ethan? If this bond becomes real, if you come to my world, you'll age while I barely change. I'll watch you grow old. I'll lose you, and I'll still have centuries left to live with that loss." The weight of her words settled over the room like a heavy blanket. Ethan moved from the floor to sit beside her on the bed. "Is that why you've been pulling back?" he asked gently. "The last 2 days, every time we get close, you find a reason to move away?" Her hands twisted in her lap. "I'm trying to protect us both." "From what?" "From this becoming too real," she whispered. "From wanting something we can't truly have." Ethan took her hand, his fingers warm against her cooler skin. "Valora, look at me." She did, reluctantly. "I'm human. I might only get 80 years if I'm lucky, but I'd rather have 30 days of something real with you than 80 years of safe and empty. Wouldn't you?" Her breath hitched.
You don't know what you're saying." "Yes, I do," he insisted. "I've spent 25 years playing it safe, dating people I didn't really love because they were convenient, making art that I didn't really believe in because I was afraid to fail at what I actually cared about. I've been half alive, Valora. And then you walked into my life, and for the first time, I feel like I'm actually awake." Tears shimmered in her eyes, actual tears that glowed faintly silver. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I've never felt this way before. Not in 120 years. And it terrifies me because I don't know how to protect my heart from you." "Then don't," he said simply. He lifted his free hand to cup her face, his thumb brushing away one of those glowing tears. "Let me in," he whispered. "Really in. Stop holding back. Stop protecting yourself. Just feel this with me, whatever it is." Valora's control finally cracked. A sob escaped her, then another, and suddenly she was crying in earnest, her face pressed against his shoulder while her whole body shook. He held her, one hand stroking her hair, murmuring soft reassurances. "I miss home," she cried. "I miss my mother even though she wants to control my life. I miss the crystal gardens and the sound of solar winds through the palace spires. I miss who I was before I had to run, before I had to hide, before I became so lonely I thought I'd disappear." I know," he soothed. "And now I miss you. Even though you're right here, I already miss you because I know I'm going to lose you. One way or another, I'm going to lose you, and it's going to destroy me." Her words broke something open in Ethan's chest. He pulled back just enough to tilt her face up to his. "Valora, look at me. Really look at me." She did, her galaxy eyes swimming with silver tears. "I'm here. Right now, in this moment, I'm here. And I choose you. Not because of magic or ancient laws or any of that. I choose you because you're brilliant and brave, and you laugh at my terrible jokes, and you look at my paintings like they matter. I choose you because when I'm with you, I finally understand what all those love songs were trying to say." A broken laugh escaped her through the tears. That was very poetic for someone who claimed to have given up on love. "Yeah, well, you bring out the artist in me." And then, because the moment felt inevitable, because they'd been orbiting this truth since the night on the beach, because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop being afraid, Ethan kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, a question more than a statement. But when Valora's hands fisted in his shirt and she kissed him back, it became something entirely different. Something that felt like coming home and setting sail at the same time. The room suddenly erupted in light. Soft purple and silver radiance poured from Valora's skin, growing brighter with every heartbeat. Ethan pulled back, startled. "What's happening?" Valora's eyes were wide, glowing so brightly he could barely see the pupils. "The bond," she gasped. It's activating." The light swirled around them both now, wrapping them in ribbons of luminescence. Ethan felt something shift inside his chest, like a door opening that he didn't know existed. And suddenly, impossibly, he could feel her. Not just her physical presence, but her emotions, her fear and hope and longing and joy, all tangled together, crashing through him like a wave. "I can feel you," he breathed. "Inside my mind, my heart, I can feel what you're feeling." "Yes," Valora whispered, her hand pressed over his heart. "The bond is forming fully now. We're connecting, soul to soul." The intensity of it was overwhelming. He could feel her loneliness, 100 years of it pressing down like the weight of empty space. He could feel her love for her mother, complicated and fierce. He could feel her terror at the thought of marrying Dravos, a darkness that made him want to protect her from everything. And underneath it all, new and fragile and growing stronger by the second, he could feel what she felt for him. Wonder, tenderness, hope, desire, love. She was falling in love with him, and she could feel it happening to him too. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice trembling, "this is real. The bond is accepting us both. We're becoming joined." He pulled her close again, pressing his forehead to his the way she'd done days ago. "I can hear your soul," he murmured, echoing her words. "What does it say?" He smiled against her skin. "It says you've been lonely too.
It says you're terrified and brave at the same time. It says maybe you've been looking for me across 100 years and just didn't know it yet. Her laugh was half sob. We are in so much trouble. Yeah, he agreed, but at least we're in it together. The light gradually faded, settling into a soft glow beneath both their skins. When Ethan looked down at his wrist, he saw a faint mark there, a constellation of stars in a pattern he didn't recognize. Valora had the same mark, glowing silver against her purple skin. What is this? The bond mark, she explained. Proof that we're claimed, that we belong to each other now. My people will see it and know. No one can break it, except death. The word hung heavy between them. We have 27 days left, Valora said quietly. 27 days until the trial of heart concludes, until we have to prove to the Royal Council that this is genuine. It is genuine, Ethan said. I know, but they won't care about feelings. They'll test us, push us, try to break what we're building, and Dravos, her voice hardened. He won't let me go without a fight. As if summoned by his name, a sharp knock suddenly echoed through the apartment. They both froze. Ethan Blake, I know you are harboring the princess. Open this door or I will burn it down. Valora's face went pale. That's not Tariq. That's one of Dravos's hunters. Ethan stood up, positioning himself between Valora and the door. Stay behind me. She grabbed his arm. Ethan, you can't fight them. They'll kill you. Then we fight together, he said simply. The bond pulsed between them, warm and strong. Whatever came through that door, they would face it. Not as a human and an alien, not as an artist and a princess, but as two souls who had finally found each other and refused to let go.
The choice. The door exploded inward in a blast of dark energy. A figure stepped through the smoke, tall, imposing, with midnight blue skin and eyes like black holes. Princess Valora, the hunter said coldly. Prince Dravos sends his regards. Valora stepped forward, her skin glowing with defensive energy. I am under the protection of the claiming bond. You have no authority here. The hunter smiled cruelly. The prince doesn't recognize bonds made with inferior species. Then the prince is a fool, Valora shot back. Before the hunter could respond, the air shimmered and tore. A massive portal opened, flooding the small apartment with blinding light. Queen Thessara stepped through, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees. She was magnificent and terrifying, 8 feet tall, skin the color of deep purple twilight, wearing a crown of actual stars. Behind her stood Tariq and a dozen royal guards. Mother, Valora breathed. The queen's gaze swept the room, landing on Ethan with the weight of a collapsing star. So, this is the human who dared claim my daughter. Ethan's knees wanted to buckle, but he forced himself to stand straight. Your Majesty? Silence, the queen commanded, then turned to the hunter. You, leave. Tell Dravos that if he sends another assassin to Earth, I will consider it an act of war. The hunter hesitated, then vanished in a swirl of shadows. Queen Thessara's attention returned to Valora. Daughter, your coronation is in 23 days. You will return home and fulfill your duty. No, Valora said firmly, taking Ethan's hand. I invoke my right to complete the trial of heart. With this human, the queen's voice dripped with disdain, he is nothing. A primitive artist who will age and die before you even reach maturity. He is everything, Valora countered, her voice strong. He sees me, not the princess, not the political asset, me. And you believe this is love? Yes. Love is not enough to rule galaxies, Valora. You need strength, alliances, power. I need someone who won't treat people like possessions. Someone who believes in beauty and choice and freedom. Everything you taught me to value before politics corrupted it. The queen flinched, just slightly. Ethan found his voice. Your Majesty, I know I'm nobody. I'm human. I'll live maybe 60 more years if I'm lucky. but I love your daughter. And maybe that doesn't matter to you, but it matters to her. Isn't that worth something?" The queen studied him for a long, uncomfortable moment. "You would give up your world for her? Your people? Your home? Your very short life lived among those you understand?" "Yes," Ethan said without hesitation, "even knowing she will watch you grow old and weak while she remains young. Even then." "Why?" Ethan met her eyes. "Because some people spend their whole lives never finding what we found in 3 days. I'd rather have 30 years with her than 100 years with anyone else." Silence fell over the room. The queen's expression was unreadable. Finally, she spoke. "The trial of heart requires 3 challenges. If you pass all 3, I will accept your bond, and you may join our world as Valora's consort. If you fail even 1," she paused, "you will have your memory of her erased completely." "Mother, no," Valora protested. "Those are the terms. Do you accept, human?" Ethan looked at Valora, at the fear and hope warring in her galaxy eyes. Through their bond he felt her terror, her love, her desperate wish that he would refuse, that he would save himself. But he also felt something else. Her absolute certainty that he wouldn't. "I accept," Ethan said. The queen waved her hand. 3 glowing symbols appeared in the air between them. The trial of courage, the trial of sacrifice, and the trial of truth. You have 20 days to complete all 3. Tarek will observe and report your progress." Tarek stepped forward, bowing. "As you command, my queen." The queen turned to leave, then paused. "Daughter, I do this not to punish you, but to protect you. If his love is real, the trials will prove it. If not, better you discover it now than after centuries of regret. And if his love is real, but you still refuse to see it." The queen's expression softened almost imperceptibly. "Then perhaps I will remember what it was like to be young and foolish and in love with someone the universe said I shouldn't choose." With that, she stepped through the portal and vanished. The guards followed until Tarek remained. He looked at Ethan with something that might have been respect. "You're braver than I thought, human. Foolish, but brave. The first trial begins at dawn. Be ready." Then he, too, was gone. Ethan's legs finally gave out. He sat down hard on the bed. "What did I just agree to?" he asked. Valora sat beside him, taking both his hands. 3 impossible challenges designed to break you. "Great." "Ethan," she said seriously, "you can still walk away. Tell my mother you changed your mind. Go back to your life. I won't blame you." He pulled her close, wrapping his arms around her. 27 days ago, I was a guy who given up on everything that mattered. Now I'm fighting for someone worth believing in. I'm not walking away, Valora. Not now, not ever." She held him tighter. Through their bond, he felt her heart breaking and healing at the same time. Outside, the sun was beginning to set. 20 days until the trials were complete. 20 days to prove that love could bridge the space between worlds. 20 days to fight for their future. And Ethan Blake, failed artist and accidental hero, intended to win.